So tell us a little bit about your book.
Yeah, thank you. So, The Graduation of a Lifetime is a sci fi, and it has a map at the beginning for those of you who love a map in a book. I have to start by saying there's a duality to this book. So, on the surface, it's a story about a group of students, and they're on a campus preparing to take on their next self assignment, which is basically just a chosen mission somewhere else in another galaxy. For some people, they will just enjoy that aspect of the book, but the flip side of this whole story is asking the question, what does someone do to prepare to live a life on Earth? If we are souls or have higher selves or any of the many ways that we can describe this, what does it look like before we come here? And how many iterations do we go through elsewhere to prepare for this extreme challenge to take on an Earth lifetime? So I think some readers will pick up on a lot of the subtleties interlaced in the book, but some won't. And I think they'll still enjoy all the adventures that the characters go through.
That is very, very, very cool. I think I've only read one book in my whole life that has a similar sort of duality to that. And that was Jonathan Livingston Seagull because my dad made me read it. I think I've only heard of one book with that sort of duality to it. So that is really, really neat.
Yeah, while the duality exists, it's still a young adult book, so it's written as a fictional story that's easy to understand with that additional layer underneath for those who may be more open to some of those deeper ideas about that soul body connection, life purpose, collective goals, and our mission on Earth.
Yeah. Yeah. Jonathan Livingston is very much not young adult or easy to understand. It takes like five readings. Speaking from experience on that one. I'm very, very interested in that. So, what was kind of your process for coming up with this?
Honestly, I was always scared of the idea of writing a fiction novel because of all the dialogue, and I never planned to write something like this. But once I got struck by this one idea, I never wrote an outline. I had no idea what was going to happen. It was like one sentence, and all I did was write down a list of character names. That was it. So when I sat down to write it, it just flowed. I wish I had like a process to speak of, but I just, all it took for me was sitting down every day to write. And I wrote a chapter a day without even thinking about it. I don't know where it came from, but it just seemed to be alive on its own. And my job was just to get it down and share it.
So, is your book published yet, or do you have like an idea of when it's going to be published, if not?
It is not published yet, it's not out yet, but I am so excited to announce that the release date is May 18th, 2025. So, coming up here very, very soon, and it will be out and published and available for everyone.
That is awesome. I am probably going to add that one to my TBR as well. Thank you so much for doing this, and thank you for helping get the audio stuff fixed so we could listen to this because that's really, really cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me and letting me be a part of this event.
And I do think that is just about going to wrap up tonight. Thank you everybody so much for coming out. This was so much fun, and I've enjoyed myself so much. I've got so many things to add to my TBR and like my wish list. See you in the next event. I believe we're throwing up a sign up sheet for next Sunday's Among Us. I think that sign up sheet is going up pretty soon, so stay tuned. We will have plenty more events.